Serving requests for documents on the debt collector when you're sued for debt. Brought to you by Kenneth Chabert at yourlegalagup.com. Your advantage if you're being sued by debt collectors. Requests for documents, or requests for production of documents, the more correct way of saying the same thing, are among the most powerful tools in the Discovery Toolbox. What are they, and how can you use them? In a way, it's obvious what requests for documents are, isn't it? They are a request to the other side of a lawsuit to produce certain specified documents or things, and that's a broadly defined term, photographs, phonographs, all sorts of stuff like that. Take a look at your rule to see all the things that the term includes. The items must be in the possession or control of the party being requested them. If they are, the party requested must identify the documents or things and make clear how they will be physically produced, that means given to you. You should check your local rules because sometimes the rules specify that the documents must actually be provided for the response to the request for production to be complete. And sometimes you just have to offer them. In making your request for production, you must bear three things in mind. You have to make your request specific, you must follow local rules as to their form, and you must make the request broad enough to gather all the materials you are seeking. These things can be a challenge. Let's start with making your request specific. If you know the exact documents you're seeking, you can specify them by date or name. And this will be the case wherever you're asking for the documents the debt collector has sent you, if you've kept them. And the advantage of asking for documents you've already received, of course, is that if they provide them in discovery, it will be undeniable that they came from the debt collector. But you're often not going to know the date or title of the documents you're seeking. And you're not even going to know whether they exist at all under any name, in many cases. If, for example, you're asking for all the documents the debt collector has, which may be used to show that you owe any money, you will have no idea what these documents would be. So you must ask by category and more general description. You will probably want to ask for every document in their possession that came from the original creditor. If you have a claim under the FDCPA, you will probably want to ask for all policies and procedures they have to prevent the sort of violation you're suing them for. Because they may defend against your counterclaim by arguing they had made an innocent mistake that they had policies in place to prevent. Likewise, you'll probably want copies of any complaints similar to yours that anyone has made in court or otherwise, as a proof that the policies are bogus or ineffective. You need to follow the required form. In the old days, you could file multi-part requests for production. They might say, provide all written documents complaining in any way about your debt collection practices and provide A, your responses, blah, 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 B, C, D, multi-parts. In this area, they're still permitted that way, and so that's what you're going to find in the forms pack. In some jurisdictions, however, apparently this type of question is not allowed. Find the local rules and find out whether you can ask compound or conjunctive requests. If you can, that's fine. But if not, you're going to need to break the requests that are in the forms pack into more manageable pieces. Be aware that if the rules impose limits on requests, the number of them, the multi-part requests may be regarded as more than one request, if you're allowed to use the multi-parts. And you need to make your requests sufficiently broad. The other side of the make your requests specific enough to be clear is that you want to make sure your requests are sufficiently broad, that's broad enough to get everything that might be important to the case. If they're too broad, they seek information that isn't relevant to your case. But if they're too narrow, they will allow the debt collector to avoid providing important documents. So you need to think carefully about the requests that you make and take a look at the samples in the forms pack. You may not consider this video or anything I say in this or any video as legal advice. I can't give you legal advice, but as a former lawyer, I do know the legal process and debt law very well. So use what I say as a source of information and apply your own judgment to your case. To get more help on fighting debt collectors and their lawsuits, go to yourlegalagup.com. Get my litigation manual and forms. If you appreciate this video, please take a second and like it on YouTube Subscribe and friend me on YouTube, as these things will help others find my videos and begin to learn more about the debt litigation process. Defend yourself from the debt collectors.